Hello friends, how are you? We will continue our discussion in this wonderful weather about evolution of cities. Ancient and medieval cities, how they evolved, and we had a very beautiful journey right from Kalibangan to our Delhi and Ahmednagar. In today's session, we will try to understand about modern cities. So let us continue our conversation and take it forward and begin our expedition to modern cities. But before we do that, I would like to discuss about pre-industrial and industrial cities. In fact, in several discussions, you will find that industrial and modern cities have been used interchangeably. However, scholars also debate that modern cities are refined versions of industrial cities. Let us find out more about this. So, when we talk about pre-industrial cities, in most simplest terms, it can be defined as the time before industrialization, or rather before industrial revolution also. In other words, it was life before machine manufacturing and mechanization. Most activity during the pre-industrial age existed at the subsistence level, in which goods are produced for the consumption and survival of one's family group. In this subsistence lifestyle, most goods were produced by the family for the family. For instance, a farmer grew food for his family, not to sell at a market. Pre-industrial cities is not associated with the European Industrial Revolution. Instead, it is characterized by a complex social organization, a highly developed state or religious institutions, and a rigid class structure. Pre-industrial cities served as market centers and obtained food and raw materials from outside. A number of handicrafts are also manufactured in these centers. Important political, religious and educational activities take place in such cities. The provision of modern transportation systems, good roads, etc. are lacking in these cities. There are several social divisions and different areas allocated for different sections and occupations. Pre-industrial cities are also religious centers. For example, Kashi, the present day Banaras, situated on the banks of Ganga, is the city of Ghats, where temples and shrines are also located in massive scale. Pre-industrial city is associated with its simple system of production with absence of fragmentation or specialization of work. The handicraftsmen participated in nearly every phase of the manufacture of an article and carry out the work in his home or in a small shop nearby and within the limits of certain guild and community regulations, maintaining control over the methods of production. Most commercial activities also are conducted in pre-industrial cities by individuals without a highly formalized organization. The craftsmen market their own products. The various occupations are organized into what have been termed as guilds. This word we have come across in our previous lessons also. Guilds have existed for merchants and handicraft workers like goldsmiths and weavers. There is a clearly demarcated class structure and family, religious, educational and governmental systems. The most striking component is literate elite controlling the masses as well as dependent on it, as we see in case of the caste system in India. The elite comprises of individuals holding positions in the government and in religious and educational institutions in society. The masses produce handicrafts and provide services mainly for the elite. There is a sharp division between the elite and the lower class, but in both these classes there are various levels as well. The members of the elite families enjoy power and property. Their position is legitimized by sacred writings. The pre-industrial cities ranked lower than the urban lower class, performing tasks considered especially degrading, such as burying the dead. There is a formalized system of age grading as a mechanism of control in pre-industrial cities. In a family, the eldest son is privileged. Children and youth are considered subordinate to parents and other adults. Older persons hold considerable power and prestige in society. Now, from pre-industrial, let us now move our focus to industrial cities. Industrial cities have heterogeneous populations, live together with different kinds of work and profession. It has high density of population with organized structure. There are different ways of work in cities: social mobility, impersonal social interaction, time and pace pressures, small family and man-made urban environment. Work in cities includes industrial work in factories, work in commerce, transportation, in communication and many other services. The activities are non-agricultural and emphasis is on the use of machines and on refined ways of organizing the workplace to increase the efficiency of workers. It is not restricted to merely a single market selling one kind of good, but there are special markets for each good and each service, such as the publishing business, finance and insurance, selling of machinery and tools. All these services are separate from each other and also interlinked to each other at the same time. In industrial cities, the social structure is more complex. There is a huge division of labor and specialization, and it is based on personal talents, abilities, efficiency, experience and preferences than age and sex. The social life occurs in the context of secondary groups and large anonymous urban communities. The community as a pattern of association is not destroyed, but certain new forms called networks replace old neighborhood forms. Large family networks may diminish, but friendship networks remain alive. The social contact is often between relative strangers who have little or emotional involvement with each other. Availability of wide socio-economic, occupational and political opportunities helps individuals to take a chance to improve their statuses. Industrial societies are mostly dominated by urban way of life and hence they are characterized by heterogeneous culture. Diversification of lifestyles is very conspicuous in industrial cities. Life is complex and many-sided. Differentiation is strong in modern societies. The wide range of different groups leads to a pluralism of values, outlooks, opinions and beliefs, and wide range of subcultures also is present. Cities acquire a new character with the rise of industrialism as they become highly interdependent on each other and there may also be competition with each other. There are linkages between larger cities and smaller ones. The urban environment is man-made, as we just discussed now, and it is also mechanical. Several changes are made in the environment to provide civic amenities such as laying of water supply lines, sewers, channels for electric power or gas supply. There is strong network of communication also. The industrial cities are usually planned. Planning may imply the pattern of streets, parks, housing areas, etc. There may also be an interest in planning the distribution of industrial sites and related facilities. There may be some people who are concerned about housing programs and the rehabilitation of slums. So, let us continue our discussion with modern cities. So, modern cities can be defined as those which belong to the present and recent times. Modernization implies multiple things, including emergence of efficiency, greater usage of technology, rationalization, increased human and spatial interaction, and extraordinary complexities of social relationships. Modern cities characterize all these aspects. Further, modern cities are associated with more efficient means of production and provide heterogeneous goods and services. The dimensions of a modern city include spatial morphology and location. Secondly, they also talk about economic structures, demographic and sociological structures, technological structure. In India, number of modern cities have emerged during colonization, that is during British period. Interestingly, they reflect both traditional and modern characteristics and its spatial structure. It is relatively a new city founded and developed primarily after beginning of the 19th century. The significant characteristics of modern cities can be, let us talk about some dimensions. Large tertiary or service sector like banking, hospitality, telecom, huge markets for goods, increase in population due to migration and natural increase in population due to decline in death rates and high birth rates, social, cultural and psychological changes seen in changes in family structure, literacy, sex ratio, values, attitudes and forms of social relations. There are also infrastructural development aspects and technological changes such as network of good roads, modern and efficient means of transportation. To keep track of life in growing cities, they carried out regular surveys, they gathered statistical data and published various official reports. From the late 19th century, the British tried to raise money for administering towns through systematic annual collection of municipal taxes. After 1800, urbanization in India was sluggish. All through the 19th century, up to the first 2 decades of 20th century, the proportion of urban population to the total population in India was extremely low and had remained stagnant. In the 40 years between 1900 and 1940, the urban population increased from about 10% of the total population to 13%. There were significant variations in the patterns of urban development in different regions. The smaller towns had little opportunity to grow economically. Calcutta, Bombay and Madras on the other hand grew rapidly and soon became sprawling cities. The growth of these 3 cities as the new commercial and administrative centers was at the expense of other existing urban centers. As the hub of the colonial economy, they functioned as collection depots for the export of Indian manufactures such as cotton textiles in the 18th and 19th centuries. After the Industrial Revolution in England, this trend was reversed and these cities instead became the entry point for British manufactured goods and for the export of Indian raw materials. The nature of this economic activity sharply differentiated these colonial cities from India's traditional towns and urban settlements. The introduction of railways in 1853 meant a change in the fortune of the towns. Economic activity gradually shifted away from traditional towns which were located along old routes and rivers. Every railway station became a collection depot for raw materials and a distribution point for the imported goods. With the expansion of the railway network, railway workshops and railway colonies were also established. Railway towns like Jamalpur, Voltaire and Bareilly developed. Although Calcutta, Bombay and Madras, they supplied raw materials for industry in England and had emerged because of modern economic forces like capitalism. Their economies were not primarily based on factory production. Colonial cities reflected the mercantile nature of the new rulers, that is British rulers. Political power and patronage shifted from Indian rulers to the merchants of the East India Company. Indians who worked as interpreters, middlemen, traders and suppliers of goods also had an important place in these cities. Economic activity near the river or the sea led to development of docks and ghats. Along the shore were godowns, mercantile offices, insurance agencies for shipping, transport depots, banking establishments, etc. Further, inland were the chief administrative offices of the company. The Writers' Building in Calcutta was one such office. Around the periphery of the fort, European merchants and agents, they built palatial houses in European styles. Some built garden houses in the suburbs. Radically, the exclusive clubs, race courses and theatres were also built for the ruling elite. Within the cities, new social groups were formed and the old identities of people were no longer important. All classes of people were migrating to big cities. There was an increasing demand for clerks, teachers, lawyers, doctors, engineers and accountants. As a result, the middle classes increased. They had access to new educational institutions such as schools, colleges and libraries. So, the post-independent cities in India, they are growing at very fast rate in all sectors such as technology, communications, infrastructure, education and many more. We all are aware about Bangalore. Bangalore is an IT hub of India. Every year, thousands of new startups start in IT industry. Bangalore offers the best opportunity for IT experts to make their career here. Bangalore is also known as the Silicon Valley of India due to the presence of thousands of IT companies which employs large number of people. Pune has been ranked due to thousands of IT companies and best infrastructure compared to other cities in India. Pune is on the way to become the next IT hub of India after Bangalore. Already a large number of IT and IT related companies have good presence in Pune. Hyderabad, the capital of Telangana, has built the state-of-the-art infrastructure and availability of talent pool, best policy and thousands of companies working in the technological industry makes Hyderabad as one of the most advanced cities in India. Hyderabad has one of the best infrastructures compared to other cities of India as well. It provides best high-speed internet, transportation, availability of talent pool, communication facilities, educational institutes and many more to support. Mumbai is the financial capital of India. Due to Hindi film industry popularly known as Bollywood, Mumbai is also considered as the entertainment capital of India. In addition to this, Mumbai is the fastest growing tech center of Maharashtra after Pune. New Delhi, our own capital, is that city which offers best transportation facility such as metro, rail and bus transportation. Apart from Delhi, Gurgaon is most advanced city of Haryana, which is situated in the National Capital Region, popularly called as NCR, region near New Delhi. Gurgaon has been ranked as the most prosperous city of India. Noida, New Okhla Industrial Development Authority, is one of the most developed regions in India. Noida is also considered as the fastest growing urban region in India with best infrastructure. The city has many facilities. A modern city requires to live the good life. All those things we find in Noida. Chandigarh is the first planned city of India after independence of India. It is the capital of Punjab and Haryana, both states, and Chandigarh has built the best infrastructure, transportation facilities, communication facilities and manpower. Ahmedabad is the financial capital of state of Gujarat. It was once known as the Manchester of India due to large number of cloth mills. Ahmedabad has a large number of bridges, tech companies, most advanced communication systems, availability of talent pool and much more. Chennai is a very important city. It is the largest city of South India and the Chennai port is considered as one of the busiest ports in India. New cities have a comprehensive and mixed use design and are based on master plan and incorporate a population representative of various social groups. Satellite towns in particular refer to those cities whose residents often commute to neighboring cities to utilize the available amenities. In post-independent India, development within the country was concentrated in smaller geographical areas. States such as Gujarat witnessed the development of planned capital cities. Some of the notable planned cities within the country include Manesar near Gurgaon, Navi Mumbai, Noida, Gandhinagar, Bhubaneswar, Bhilai, Lavasa and Aurovilla. Smart cities have also been conceptualized as those urban settlements that make use of technology to provide better quality of living for the citizens under an organized framework are unique features of post-independent urban India. The key thrust areas of development of cities of post-independent India will comprise of integrated planning, electrical connectivity, skill development, livelihood opportunities and sanitation. On the peripheries of the modern city, a number of residential suburbs are located which are economically tied to the central city. The modern city is much larger than its predecessors. Some of these cities specialize in different kinds of activities and they carry out manufacturing activities to a large extent. modern cities also play a number of roles such as administrative, commercial and other service functions. The development of the modern city is linked with industrialization, with the development of manufacturing processes based on the factory. Most of the land used in modern cities is used for industrial purposes. A large segment of population is employed in secondary or industrial activities. The factory and the modern city are associated with the usage of non-living sources of energy for manufacturing purposes. So friends, in this session we have tried to understand about pre-industrial cities, modern cities, industrial cities, and with specific reference to India, our concentration was on post-independent urban cities. And I am sure you have enjoyed this voyage from ancient to modern, ancient and medieval we discussed in our previous lesson, and in this lesson our focus was on modern. The more you read, the more you will enjoy about the cities in India as well as the global cities. In your reading, if you have any concerns, any observations or anything which you think you should share, please feel free to write to me at pandevini@gmail.com. So continue to explore, and I will meet you very shortly with another interesting session where we are going to talk about the changing face of urban communities. So thanks a lot for being with me. Be happy. Take care. Bye-bye.